Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, Shirley and Yarny. Here it's Milena and today I have a special project for you. It's not anything nice, it's actually the making of a disaster. So let's get to it. So here's a disaster that has been happening right now. Basically, it's what happens when you choose the wrong work yarn for a project. A little story short, a while ago I went to the store and I bought this yarn. I just fell in love with it. It was so soft. I just loved the colors, and I didn't pay much attention to what kind of yarn it was and if it was okay to weave with it. I was just like struck by love stroke. I was like, no, this is my yarn. And when I bought it, I just put it away in my stash. I thought one day I'm gonna weave with it. So today was the day. And I quickly realized that this yarn is actually only one ply yarn, which is not really suitable for work. It's nice for weft, but for work, not really. It's not the best, and mostly because sometimes it does not resist that much to tension. For this one, doesn't seem to be much the case. I think it's gonna hold on the tension. If I do the tension test, I just pull it very tightly, it's okay, but it's not resistant to friction. While I do this, a lot of fluff, a lot of the fiber just goes away and makes the yarn thinner and thinner all the time. But I was too invested in the project, so I thought, I'm just gonna go and try it and see what happens. And at first I was encouraged because it was okay when I just warped it on. That was fine. I started threading it and that was fine too. And now I'm at the step where I need to wind it onto the back beam, and this is where things get a little bit complicated. I managed to go through about halfway of the length that I warped, so about 1 meter long, and now I'm 1 meter away from finishing. And as I'm winding on, and there's friction, as I said, there's fluff coming out of the yarn. So this is one of the chunk of yarn that I got while winding on, and this is very bad. And it gets stuck here on the heddle. And after a while, there's a lot of build-up coming, a lot of those fluffs building up on the heddle, and then it creates even more tension. And this not tension, but it creates even more friction, and this is when things really got bad, because after a while some threads started to break. I have one that I repaired hoping it would be the only one. I was naive. Now the second one broke, and here you can see how it happens. It really just like too much friction really damaged the yarn, and now it's just like the ply hat is just all the way degrading. So here's the original thread, which is quite, like it's strong, and now it's all fluffy. So I'm gonna try to repair it again. I know where the other end is. I'm gonna try to put a knot and see what happens. And yeah, let's see how it turns out. And normally I think the logical way to deal with that would maybe just to cut it off and call it a day, and take the fabric to make like a filling for a pillow. But today I'll try to go all the way through. I'm gonna try to see what happens, if I can actually weave something with it. I'm not sure. I think when I'm gonna start weaving and moving the heddle back and forth, it's gonna cause too much friction and the threads are gonna break a lot, but we'll see. Welcome back. So as you can see, I managed to wind the whole warp onto the back beam. I managed to attach it in the front, and I even started weaving a little bit, but that's it. I quit. So I managed to, in order to achieve to finish winding it onto the back beam without any more threads breaking, I had to stop at every few inches to take off the fluff that was building up on the heddle. So I cranked a few inches, then I stopped, I took it all out, all the fluff out, and then I started again cranking until the end. So this honestly took forever, but no more thread broke, but still was clear in my mind at this point that there was no way I could weave something out of it if simply passing like the threads passing through the heddle one time was causing this much of a mess. I cannot imagine how much mess it will create when I pass the heddle a few times, so every time I beat. Still, I wanted to see how far I could get with it, so I attached it, I started weaving. I managed to weave about 7 or 8 rows. I did this scrap yarn and then a few rows of the actual weft, which is the same yarn. And I just decided to quit. I abandoned. And it's because the yarn is very fluffy, and the way it's made, because of the fluffiness, it just sticks together. So the warp threads, they stick together. So even though I put the heddle up and down, there's no clear shed created actually. So it's very hard to get a clean shed. So it's very hard to pass the shuttle. I have to, every time I put the heddle up or down, I need to manually separate all the threads so that I could just pass the heddle without having floats. I try to use pickup sticks, sometimes it helps, but this is just too sticky of a yarn. There's really no way to go around it, so I just abandoned. I did not even get to the point where I could see threads breaking. It's just, I'm over with it, so this is a real disaster. Still, it's not all lost. Now what's left for me to do is just cut it all off. It's gonna be painful, but I'm gonna cut it all off, put it in a bag, and I'm gonna keep this fabric to make a pillow. So the next pillow I'm gonna fill it with this, so it's not totally lost. And the yarn that I still have left from the project, this I'm gonna use as a weft. This time I learned my lesson, so in the next project I'm gonna make a scarf with a much stronger warp and a much suitable warp, and this is gonna be the weft. And so this is it. Now let's just cut it. So this is it. This is the end for this project. Thank you for watching. I really hope this helped you in any ways. I hope it helped you learn from my mistakes, that you don't do the same mistake. And really, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. My next videos hopefully won't be a disaster like this one. Also feel free to like this video and comment down below. And see you next time. Have a nice day.